So here's the deal. I grew up knowing my dad was a monster, but I didn't fully realize the extent of his manipulative business dealings until I was literally pregnant with twins and he didn't know about it. And I knew I couldn't tell him because he would try to sell them off. That's how bad it was. So this is going to be the story time of how that even happened. So one day when I'm at the hospital because I have stomach pain, the nurse tells me that I'm pregnant with twins, which is insane to me because to my understanding, I'm a virgin. I have no idea how I got pregnant, but I know that my dad can't find out because I don't want him to mess with this at all. And also, he's going to view me as less valuable because the only reason he keeps me around is to sell me off to the Gray family, basically have me marry Anthony Gray, who's like the son of this big business mogul my dad wants to do business with. And I can't marry Anthony Gray. Like, I don't want to have an arranged marriage, but my dad doesn't really give me a choice. But I know that, you know, you can't just pretend a pregnancy is not happening. So when I headed home from the hospital, I knew I kind of had to keep it a secret for as long as I could. But the second I get back to my dad's mansion, the Grays are there and they're talking business. They're arguing back and forth. Finally, Anthony Gray's dad is like, yo, I've already decided, Anthony, you're marrying Nora. And he's like, I'm not marrying the round one, which he was literally talking about me because I kind of struggled with my relationship to fitness and health. Obviously, having an abusive stepmother for so long ruined my self-concept. I didn't know how to take care of myself, but it was still deeply hurtful to hear this person I'm supposed to be getting engaged to talking so poorly of me. And I enter the room. I was like, stop. I'm not marrying anyone. You guys don't have a right to talk about me like this. And my dad yanks me to the floor and he's like, shut up, Nora. Your opinion doesn't matter. And that was when Justin Hunt entered the room. Okay, silence falls because everyone knows that Justin Hunt can outbuy any person in that room. So they respect his wealth, but also they're like, why is this guy here? And he kind of goes over to me, helps me up, and he's like, you guys should be ashamed of yourselves. I'm stunned. I start feeling super lightheaded. And then I faint. When I wake up, I'm in the hospital again. And my dad is there. And guess what? He found out that I was pregnant. It was my worst nightmare. He looks at me and he's like, you ruined everything, Nora. Because he doesn't think he can marry me off to the Grays anymore. But there's nothing I can really tell him. I can't tell him that it's not true. It is. I am pregnant. The next couple months of my life are a blur because my dad forced me to bring the babies to term in secrecy. He locked me in what was basically a dungeon. And the only visitor I had was a nurse who didn't even care to visit me, but just like had to feed me every now and then. He tried to keep me weak, which was terrifying. I wasn't eating properly at all. And when it finally came time to deliver, it was the most excruciating pain of my life. But my son came first. And the second I pushed him out, my dad yanked him away from me. And I was just heartbroken about that. But I can't even think about the fact that my evil dad has his hands on my newborn son because I have to push out my daughter. And the moment I deliver her, somehow I conjure the strength to pull her into my arms. I'm holding her in my chest. I get up from the bed. I'm running. I'm bleeding. And then my dad yanks me back. He said, where do you think you're going? You're not getting out of here. Not so fast. And as much as I wanted to leave with my precious baby girl, I couldn't move. That I had gone through something so traumatic delivering in such a hostile environment, and my head was super woozy, and all of a sudden everything went black again. Somehow, some way, by a miracle, I survived. When I woke up, I had my baby girl, Cherry. But my son, the newborn that my dad had his hands on, nowhere to be found. And I made a promise in that moment that I would do whatever it took to get him back. But before I could do that, I had to find a way to support my daughter and I. So that became my priority for the next 8 years. But finally, the day came when I was ready to see my father again. And I had undergone a pretty major transformation. I reinvented my relationship to health and wellness. I had started eating properly. I was in a regular fitness program. I became a doctor. I got my PhD single-handedly and became one of the most successful surgeons in the world. Oh yeah, and my name wasn't Nora Smith anymore. It was Athena. And So it's kind of easy to understand how when I walked into my father's office 8 years later, he did not recognize me. And I was prepared in that moment to demand my son, but first it was just that thrill of him being scared. Because he looked at me across the desk like, do I know you from somewhere? And then my stepsister Angela came in and she was like, who is this? And of course, I'm in my medical garb. I'm looking like Dr. Athena because that's what I made the appointment under. And my dad asks, Dr. Athena, how can I help you today? And I was like, you tell me, Dad. When I tell you, he looked like he had seen a ghost, and I was practically a ghost. I had come back from the dead to haunt him. He said, I thought I killed you. You're not alive. You're not real. I said, look at me now, Dad. Where is my son? And when I told him that I would take everything from him so that I could get my son back, he didn't hesitate to release the most heartbreaking information then. He goes, that's not possible, Nora. I killed him. I buried him alive the night you gave birth to him. My heart sinks. I feel nauseated. I'm going to throw up right there. But I also know that I have my phone recording in my pocket, and I hold it out to him and I say, you really think you can get away with this? Now I have a recorded confession. But he denies it. He goes, good luck. Good luck proving that. And I just leave because I know that even if he is lying, what he did in, first of all, stealing my baby from me, but second of all, believing that I died and just going about life acting like I never existed in the first place for 8 years. That's ridiculous. This is an abusive person. I need to get out of this situation. So I head to my hotel because I know I have to get away from my dad, and I'm obviously not living in the same city as him anymore, thank God. So when I get to the hotel, I'm prepared to, say goodnight to my daughter, Cherry. She's 8 years old now, and she's in our hotel room. But before I even get to my room, I get this call from Solo, this private investigator I have. And I was like, what's up? He goes, Nora, did you know that Justin Hunt is looking for you? I'm like, that's weird. The last time I heard about Justin Hunt was when I was living here, and he ran for the van that I was kidnapped into by my father. And he was like, don't worry, Nora, I'll find you, right? This is the Justin Hunt who is the huge business mogul, the Justin Hunt who randomly came to my rescue when my dad was trying to marry me off to Anthony Gray. Why does Justin Hunt want to find Dr. Athena? Why does Justin Hunt want to find me? As I'm walking through the hotel lobby, I see Justin Hunt. And I'm dodging him, obviously. I don't want to see him, but I see that he's with a little boy. And I'm like, that's weird. That little boy looks kind of like me.